TeamStrub Day 16. Welcome to Little Rock, Arkansas. Playing a little game of Between One Fern today with my buddy Prentis Jones, the volunteer coordinator. Well, Prentis, why don't you introduce yourself and explain your role here at our house shelter?
My name is Prentis Jones, and I am the volunteer relations coordinator at Our House, which is a homeless shelter and series of programs in Little Rock, Arkansas. I help recruit and facilitate volunteer activities on our campus.
Okay, and let's talk briefly about the campus. So where are we right now, and what else is there to see on the campus?
So we are currently in our shelter, which is our main housing unit. We have two housing units on campus, which is an 80-person shelter and then a 30 to 40-person dorm-style living building. The other buildings we have on campus is we have an adult education center, and then really our flagship program, which is our children's center, which we have an after-school program and an infant care program for about 6 weeks to 5 years old.
Okay, and we're here, this is the end of May, so right now we're currently wrapping up the end of the after-school program, and we're preparing to get into the summer care program. Again, now today is Saturday, so there's really not a lot going on the campus. Again, the nature of a crazy trip like this, sometimes you got to stop by on a Saturday, but we did take a little walk around and saw, you mentioned the flagship facility out there is the child care center. Really looks like a top-of-the-notch facility. So describe sort of what sort of activities take place in that center for the kids.
So our children's center is coming up on its 1-year anniversary, and we have two main functions. The first one is our infant care. So a lot of our clients, whenever they're staying in our shelter, they are in transition, and it can be very costly to have to pay for child care. So we provide all our child care in-house. So every day from about 7:30 to 5:30, we have a licensed child care center that we're running, and it's called Little Learners. They go through a day that involves rudimentary learning, activity time, snack time, nap time, essentially all the processes that you would go through in any sort of pre-K education or experience. And then the other half of the children's program is a little more structured and a little more expansive, and it's called Our Club. It's our after-school program. There are about 60 kids who go there day in and day out, and it runs from about 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock at night. And they do a lot of different activities. We have brought in an orchestra to help teach them about music. We've had a slam poet come in to do little poetry workshops with them. We have an art facilitator to work on, art projects. We have a computer lab that helps them with technology. And each group, they're split into age groups, all have their own days full of activity and learning and skill building, whether it's through clubs like garden club or cooking club, or through bringing out volunteers and providers to give them different experiences.
And we talk about the staff here at Our House. Now you, of course, are an AmeriCorps Vista, just like we've seen some other AmeriCorps Vistas down in Montgomery and Jacksonville, etc. How many Vistas are there here on staff? I was very impressed by this.
So we have about 20 AmeriCorps members, and we actually, for the summer, just added 20 more, roughly, because during the summer we run an all-day program for our kids. So year-round there's about 20 to 25 service members.
And you talk about the grants process and how Our House really has flourished in large part due to grants from the community, as well as the backing of corporate partnerships here in the community that really have supported what you guys are trying to do.
Absolutely. So being a nonprofit, one of the most critical ways we've been able to make up for that lack of resources is through grant writing. We have supplied most of our AmeriCorps positions, in addition to a couple of other really great programs on campus, through grant writing. We had a full-time grant writer. We have multiple people on staff who have experience in grant writing, and we try to go far and wide with the grants we apply for.
Okay, and we had a great discussion a minute ago about homelessness in general and the idea of homelessness, that maybe people think that it's long-term, but really for the average person staying here, it's less than 2 months. You know, that they can stay here for up to 2 years, but it's really not necessarily a long-term problem for most people.
Yes, so a lot of people, whenever they think, and we talk about this a lot, they have a stereotypical idea of homelessness, and a lot of times people imagine someone in rags or tattered clothes asking for change, which is a very real scenario. But for the most of the individuals who experience homelessness, it's temporary, and they look like, you know, everybody else. We have individuals with college degrees who worked in film production. We have individuals who have been in the workforce all their life. You know, we have veterans, we have young mothers, we have singles. The experience of homelessness can affect anybody, really. And most people are homeless from one or two things. It's usually involving a job. They lost a job or have had trouble finding employment, or something happened to transportation. And all of those things those things don't discriminate.
Yeah.
You know, that can affect anyone. So most experiences here in the shelter, people stay here about 47 days is the average stay in the shelter. And then they're back on their feet or back pursuing another way. So
Great.
for most people, it is a temporary life experience, not chronic, which would be year in and year out.
Great. Let's talk about the role of volunteers. Obviously, it's a huge part of your job. How can people in Little Rock help out at the shelter?
So there are a number of ways to help out. The things that I would like to envision the most and that we could really benefit from are consistent individuals who can offer specific services. So a lot of times where we've really been able to help our clients is whenever someone can come in and offer them something that they cannot normally experience. So for example, we've brought out barbers to offer free haircuts. When you're living in our shelter and going by our time frame and, you know, going out there to work, those things can be hard to just get and pay out of pocket. We've brought out people to teach exercise classes or to give financial literacy classes, you know, to help with our GEDs, to get certifications. Anybody who can add something, provide a service that can make our clients' lives a little bit easier, then that can be tremendous. And so, you know, use your creativity. If you want, some of the best volunteers we've had are people who came to us with something they wanted to do. And so
That's great. That's fantastic. So people can read more about these different opportunities. Where would we?
And so we have a good website that you can go to. It's ourhouseshelter.org. And there is a large amount of information on ways to get involved, either through donations or volunteering, employment, or even connecting to some of our partner organizations who, if you help them, you'll inevitably be helping us, because they are also addressing the issues in low-income populations and the homeless population.
Great. Well, thrilled to be here in Little Rock. Prentis, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Check out their website for more information on how to help. This really does seem like a great organization. the facility down there on the Facebook page, and then certainly on their website you can check out a whole lot more pictures and information about the child care program and about the different facilities and options offered here. So pleasure to be here in the lovely state of Arkansas.